iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Hi, it's SJ Arniger for iHeartRadio Broadway. On December 11th, Netflix will be releasing the highly anticipated film adaptation of the Broadway musical The Prom, directed and produced by Ryan Murphy. The movie stars heavy hitters like Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman, and James Corden, and we sat down with some of the cast and creative team to hear what they had to say about making the film. How are you guys?
We're great. How are you doing, SJ?
I'm good, thank you. So Andrew, my first question is for you. What was it about the Broadway musical that made you want to be a part of Ryan Murphy's adaptation?
Well, I mean, when I saw it, I didn't know that this was going to happen, that there would be a film version. I just saw it, when it opened. And I was so moved by it and thought, particularly as a queer person, that I felt like if that had existed when I was in high school, what would I have felt? And I was so moved and inspired and so happy to see so many young people in the audience, and knowing that even the Broadway show was reaching a lot of young people. So when Ryan, came to me and asked me to be a part of it, and knowing that it was going to be for Netflix and would reach a large group of people, I just felt so excited and so inspired to get to share this story with even more folks, and hopefully with a lot of kids who hopefully, probably need to hear this message.
I think what attracted me to the part of Barry was, how often do parts come along where it's comical. He's got so many sort of sharp cutting lines matched with big show-stopping numbers, matched with genuine sort of depth and emotion in him. And I owe it all to Ryan, really. I mean, that's obvious, but I mean, not just in the sort of script that was delivered and the opportunity to play such a part, but the way that he guided me through it. We talked at length about sort of concerns that I may have had, and he just put my mind at ease every single step of the way. And he just guided me through it with such a kind of beautiful amount of care that I felt so confident throughout the whole process, really.
So I got a phone call from Ryan Murphy, which in itself is a delight. And he said, I'm doing The Prom. Have you seen it? I said, no, I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to see it. And he said, well, there's a character that I really think you'd be great for. And he said, most of your scenes are with Meryl. And I was like, I'm done. We don't need to talk anymore. But he said, it's really important to me that I find somebody to play her who can really, what was the words he used? He said, who could really like fill out the humanity of the character, because she is having a hard time accepting her gay daughter. And I don't want her to be a stereotypical villain. I want us to feel like we know her and we love her, and in many ways we would hang out with her, but she just has this real problem around the homophobia with regard to her own child. And will you take that on? And I just got so excited. I just thought this sounds like a really wonderful challenge. As somebody who does not identify with conservative values, I thought this is a really good opportunity for me to step into the shoes of a different person with a different belief system and try to have some empathy and compassion. And I would get to sing a little bit. Yes, I'm in.
I mean, it was truly the phone call that changed my life, and I will never forget it. I was thrift shopping in Brooklyn when I got the call, and immediately I called my mom afterwards, and she didn't pick up, so I called my grandma, and then it turns out my mom was at my grandma's house, so they both got to hear the news together. And I remembered feeling like equal parts nervous and excited, because these are people who I've looked up to for so long, and then actually getting to know them as humans was probably the best part of this journey for me, because not only are they remarkably talented artists, but they are such kind and generous individuals who made sure that I knew that I belonged, and they were so welcoming to me. And I swear I never laughed as hard as I did when we all got to film together. It's memories like that I am going to treasure for the rest of my life.
There were nerves, but I think more of excitement than anything else. Ryan did such a wonderful job of creating a nurturing, fun environment where we all, and I mean, Andrew and I have known each other for a while, but we all kind of gelled really quickly. And so I felt very, very welcome amongst these kind of him and James, and Meryl's certainly done Broadway, and Nick's a singer and married to a singer and all that stuff. But I trained extensively. I have a really wonderful vocal coach. And also I'm like, you can do this. Can you go back to your roots? This is what you did. You did musical theater when you were in high school. And it's a kind of a full circle thing for me. But I was put into an environment that was encouraging and supportive. And so that made it, that calmed the nerves.
From the concept of creating the Prom to the alliance to Broadway, did you ever in a million years expect to be on a global press junket for the Netflix adaptation of the Prom?
If I said yes, that would be such a weird answer, wouldn't it? You wouldn't believe it. No, it's crazy. I mean, the fact that the two-year anniversary of our Broadway opening was just a few days ago, and now it's opening as a major feature film. It's crazy. I was watching it last night, and just the sort of surreal and absurd nature of the whole thing was really, really hitting me. Yeah, it's such a wonderful gift. I'm so grateful to Ryan, frankly.
When I went to see it, I was just struck by the reaction of the audience. It was an overwhelming experience with people were just in love with it. There was so much joy in the room. And at that point in my life, which was early 2019, I kind of wanted to feel that. So I also deeply related to the idea and the experience of Joellen's character, Emma. The movie, part of the movie is set in Indiana, where I'm from. And the idea of not being able to go to the prom with the person of your choice is something I experienced in high school. So I just had a personal relationship to it. And I had long wanted to make something that was and felt like an old-fashioned movie musical, that I loved as a kid. And so this was it. So I just jumped in.
And Matthew, talk to me about working with Ryan Murphy, because the genius that is Ryan Murphy, to take this on and to make it this, new thing on a global scale. What was it like really working with him from the ground up?
It's been amazing. Bob and I met him early, before, as he was, basically we had a meeting with him. He wanted to discuss the film with us. And he said he wanted to do it for a kid in Russia that could, on the day it launches, could see himself on screen being portrayed in a positive way. And he was, and he really felt personal to him. And so he's really a remarkable artist. He was really faithful to the Broadway musical. He loves the Broadway musical, and anything that's changed is really kind of an addition. So it's been amazing watching him work, and the group of people that he assembles from in every department, from the way the movie looks to the way it sounds, are all just A+. So it's been a really incredible thing. And we're just so grateful to him for wanting to make it, because so many people are going to be able to see the show that never would have had the opportunity to see it on Broadway.
So I also want to talk about the messaging on a global scale. Chad, I mean, we already kind of talked about the messaging of the Prom, but now that you do have it on a bigger global scale, what do you really hope people take away from the Prom, especially now that it's really falling around the holiday season?
Well, we found with the Broadway show that a lot of parents and their kids started having conversations, and some even came out because of the Broadway show. We had one girl who was at the stage door. She said, "My mom's over there, and I'm going to come out to her tonight." And this show helped me, get the courage to do that. And so we're hoping that's on a global scale now. We're hoping that people that don't usually see themselves represented on the screen will see themselves, and hopefully, it's the holidays and everyone's around and you're quarantining together. Hopefully it sparks these really meaningful and hopefully positive conversations.
I actually think everybody's going to going to look at this very individually, and take away from it something from their own experience, from their own life. And I think that that's good. I don't think we've made something that's like medicine. That's everybody needs to take a dose of. I think it makes you think of what makes you happiest in your life. And usually those things are not aligned with fear. And seeing this movie, the elation in it, the joy in it, in acceptance, in putting away your fear of what's different from you, I think it's something everybody will react to differently. If you've been on the raw end of intolerance, you're going to come away with a hopeful feeling. If you've been someone who has been intolerant, you're maybe have a little window open in your heart. But I think everybody's going to come away with a different feeling, and I hope they come away with the feeling that they want to see it again. Get more next viewing,
I love that people have a craving for movie musicals. I love that they're more popular now, and I love that I've been given the opportunity to be a part of them. I think specifically about making my transition onto a screen. It's challenging, and I love a challenge. It requires me to think outside of the box. It's a different way of storytelling, and I like to do things that scare me every day, and this has been the greatest adventure so far. It's terrifying, but it's so rewarding to see something that you worked so hard on come to fruition in this way, and to see that it's so well done, and I didn't mess up the movie. Now that's the important thing there.
I mean, I think it works on a lot of different levels, right? This movie is obviously for young kids who are maybe trying to figure out who they are exactly, that it works on that level. I think Keegan and Meryl's story works on a much different level. I mean, it's fun for the whole family.
Yeah.
All of the boxes, but it's really I think we're told to say that as actors sometimes when you're promoting stuff, but this is one of the few times that I really do feel like that is true. I feel like when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, I can watch this with my nieces and nephews. I could watch this with my mother. It's just a very uplifting, lovely story on a lot of levels, and I hope that it hits people in all different demographics. It's not just for the gay kids, it's for all the kids.
And Keegan, same question to you.
Yeah, I feel in a way that this movie is an instruction manual for healing and acceptance. It's like, here's how you do it, folks. And I think that there are many examples of that in the thing. At the very end, it's such a magical thing between Ariana DeBose and Kerry Washington when you see her say, no matter what, at the end of the day, you're my daughter and I love you more than anything in the whole world. And so you're just taking one step. It might just be a blueprint for people taking one step toward acceptance. And as Andrew said, it's covered in this mosaic of all these other delightful things. But my hope would be that ultimately people all over the world would see that it wouldn't be so bad. Here's an example of how you could just take that one step.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.